Very good morning, dear students. My name is Rajneesh Tyagi, and I welcome to you all once again for the online classes at Master G Rajneesh Tyagi. Dear students, as you all know that nowadays we are going for the chapter the anime, and we have discussed so many things about this story earlier, and it is going to be the next video for the next paragraph. Here we go. Just be ready. America that we have forgotten to think of our own country first. They think we like Americans. It is not true. People they were realizing themselves that we are also the citizens of the America. He thought it is not true. Sadao said harshly, Americans are our enemy. But Sadao said no, we are not the Americans. Americans are enemy. Okay, but I have been trained not to let a man die if I can help him. Americans are enemy. Americans are the enemy of my country, but it does not mean that I should leave a person. I should leave a man to die, because first of all, before Americans, before Japanese, before Australian, before the citizen of any country, we are the first a citizen of the country, and we are the human beings. So being the part of this world, it is the first necessary thing to all of us that we should help to each other. But Americans are enemy, it is also the truth. The servants cannot understand that, she said anxiously. No, he agreed. Neither seemed able to say more, and somehow the household dragged on. The servants grew more watchful. Now, the conditions of that house was very painful. The servants were going to have a glance on the people of that, on the members of that family. They were suspicious, they were in confusion, they were not having any sense, they did not understand the things properly there, that what was actually happening. The servants grew more watchful, the courtesy was as careful as ever, but their eyes were cold upon the pair to whom they were hired. And they were courteous for them, they were good for them, but after all of those things, they were having a glance on those two couples, those husband and wife, Dr. Sadawa and his wife, because the thing which was happening in his house, it was just opposite to their country. It is clear what our master ought to do, the old gardener said one morning. Old gardener, he said, he instructed to all the servants there that it is clear to all of us that what our master is actually going to do and what he wants. He wants to save the life of that American person. We all know that. He said walk with flowers all his life, and he had a specialist too in moss. For Sadao's father, he had made one of the finest moss garden in Japan, and we sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf or a pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. Now he was telling about the father of Dr. Sadao, that Dr. Sadao made a beautiful garden over there in the Japan. It was the most beautiful garden of the Japanese country, and people they have not seen before the beautiful garden, just like with what they have seen. My old master's son knows very well what he ought to do, he now said. And he said, now the son of my old master, he knows very well what to do or what not to do. So just let him do whatever he wants to do right now. Pinching a bud from a bush as a spoke, when the man was so near death, why did he not let him bleed? And it was also the condition, it was the thinking that why should not we leave this person alone here, because before the citizen of any country, we are very first the human beings, and this is the job and this is the responsibility to all of us, that we should definitely help to those people who are going to die. Do not think about that what they are actually. And the things and circumstances were totally changed in the house of Dr. Sadao. The young master is so proud of his skills to save life that he saves any life. And the young master, it means Dr. Sadao, was feeling so proud himself. He was feeling so good because after all he saved a life of that American, that white man also, that American person also. how he has already saved so many lives before. So it was going to be the part of his proud, it was going to be the memorable part of his life, and he was finally successful in his operation. The cook said contemptuously, she spilled a fall neck skillfully and held the floating board and let its blood flow over into the roots of a wisteria vine. Blood is the best fertilizers, and the old gardener would not let her waste a drop of it. And they were using also the uh, each single drop of the blood for the fertilizations of the flowers and the plant there. It is the children of whom we must think. You may said sadly, what will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor, and what will be the destiny of the father of young master if he will be counted as a traitor in the war in the country. They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as he stood and arranging the day's flowers in the veranda nearby, and she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear. And Hannah was listening each and everything what were the discussing going on among the servants of that house. They were talking about that incident which was happening in that time. That they were right, she knew too in the most of her being, but there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him every yesterday when he and they would not supposed to be going to like the things if they will be counted as a prisoner in the war, and it will be so bad for them, because after all they did a very good job being a good human person, being a good human being for that a white man, for that American. But discussion among the sovereigns was going to be worst, they had said in the impulsive way. Anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom. Well, after all, I just want to tell you that my name is Tom, and as you all know, that I'm from America. She had only blown her little distant bow, and she was giving respect to that white man. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to as use it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in his house, and she knew that he was also troubling in the house. As for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully, and Dr. Sadao was giving full respect to his duty, I'm sorry, full respect to his duty, and every day he examined all the things properly. He examined all the wounds of that white man properly. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the last stitches a stitch was also pulled out on that morning, and the young man would in a fortnight be nearly as well as ever. Sadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting to the whole matter. And he went back to his office, and he also typed a letter to the police station, to the chief of the police, because being a doctor he did his job, and he saved it was necessary to save the life of someone, and he did his job very good, excellently. It was a part of his excellency, and because he is also the citizen of this country, so it is also necessary to inform the police and the army people about the enemy in their country. So he was playing both the roles perfectly. On the 21st day of February, as an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in the front of my house, so far he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. And he opened the drawer of his desk, and he put that letter. He put off on the letter there, and were, he explained, and he wrote all the things whatever happening in his house. So he made the things clearly. On the 17th, on the seventh day after that, two things happened in the morning. The servants left together, their belongings tied in the large square cotton kerchief. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done. The house not clean, and the food not prepared. And finally, the servants of that house, they were also escaped from there. They went away, and she saw that the things were very strange for her, and the house was not clean, the breakfast was not ready, and everything was looking so bad. And she knew what it meant, and she came to understand very well that finally she understood that the servants of that house, they ran away. She was dismayed her to show it. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. And finally, she had given the good amount of the money to the servants, and she was also thankful to them because whatever they did and whatever they have given the job to that family, it was memorable and it was very precious to those people that time. She was thankful to them, and she has given a big amount of money to those servants, and thanked them for all that they had done for there. They were crying, but she did not cry. The servants were crying that time, but she did not. She tried to control her emotions. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy, and those servants were giving their service to the Dr. Sadao when he was a little boy, when he was an infant, and it was the time when they were going to skip. They were when they were going to take the retirement from that house in his father's house. And Yumi cried because of the children, and Yumi cried a lot because of the children, because she loved them very much. She was so green that after she had gone, she ran back to Hana, and she was not able to control her emotions. That's why she went back to Hana and hugged her. If the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me. I am going to my own house, and you know where it is. If baby will miss me a lot, so please send the baby to my house directly. You know, ma'am, very well where is my house is located. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling. And Hannah is controlled her emotions and said, okay, thank you very much for this compliment. But she told herself she would not send for Yumi, however the baby cried. But she said also this thing that if baby will cry, I will not send the baby to your house anymore. She made the breakfast and Sada helped with the children. Neither of them spoke to the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hana had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao, and she has given a breakfast to that prisoner, it means to that white man, and came back to her husband, Dr. Sadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? And she complained to Dr. Sadao that why we are not going to see anything, that what we are doing in our life right now. Even the servants see more clearly than we do, and even the servants of our house, they went away, and they are not going to stay anymore with us. So why we are doing such activities, such things in our life? Why are we different from other Japanese, and why we are not going to be the part of the country of the member of this country? Why we are different from the other Japanese? Even we are also the Japanese person, and we should do whatever the other Japanese are doing. So Dao did not answer, but a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely. And so Thou did not explain anything to his wife, and he went to the house, to the room of that prisoner, and it was very different. It was very unexamined for the wife of Dr. Sadao. So Sadao was not paying any attention to his wife, and Hana was going to be depressed because servants went away, and she was thinking the things whatever we are doing, it is not it is not going to be beneficial for for our life. So that's why she wanted to make her husband understand that we should definitely take the actions whatever the Japanese are going to take it. And it is not going to be the part of best things in our life, so we should definitely uh, protect to our people, this region of this country, the Japanese. And we should also do such activities, such things whatever the other Japanese are doing, because we are also the part of this country and we are not different from them. She was complaining. So dear students, it was the part of the day, and we have taken some paragraphs, 4 paragraphs today also. And we will continue this video, we will continue this chapter tomorrow also. Similarly, the all the exercise, all the question and answers do in your fair notebook. And this is the question of the day to all the students here. And that the question is, uh, who went away from the house of Dr. Sadao? This is the question. Please give your answers in the comment box, and stay healthy at your home. Till then, take care. Bye bye.